The call across the void. The vastness of space had always seemed endless to Captain Rosa Chen, but today, as she stood on the bridge of the TDF horizon, something felt different. The stars that usually provided comfort now seemed to pulse with urgency. She'd been commanding Earth's flagship for 5 years, leading humanity's most advanced warship through what had been largely peaceful patrols. That was about to change. "Captain, we're picking up something unusual," Lieutenant David Park announced from the communication station. His fingers danced across the holographic interface, trying to isolate the signal. "It's not using any known frequency patterns." Rosa walked over, her magnetic boots clicking against the metal deck. The Terran Defense Fleet had been established 20 years ago, after humanity finally achieved faster-than-light travel. They'd prepared for potential alien encounters, but none had materialized. Until now. "Can you clean it up?" she asked, studying the erratic waveforms on Park's display. "Working on it, ma'am. The computer's having trouble with the language matrix, but wait." Park's eyes widened. "Captain, the AI is classifying this as a distress signal. It's being broadcast on multiple frequencies simultaneously." Rosa felt her pulse quicken. "Put it through the main speakers." The bridge filled with an alien voice, melodic yet desperate. The universal translator struggled, producing fragmented phrases. "Any who receive. Desperate need. Extinction approaches. Haranak Empire. Please." Commander Sarah Martinez, Rosa's second-in-command, stepped closer. "That definitely sounds like someone needs help." "Get me Admiral Thompson," Rosa ordered. "And keep working on that translation." Within minutes, the face of Admiral James Thompson appeared on the main view screen. The gray-haired veteran of Earth's unified military looked tired but alert. "Captain Chen, I assume this is about the signal we're all receiving." "Yes, sir. We believe it's a genuine distress call from an alien civilization." Thompson nodded grimly. "We're picking it up across the entire fleet. The linguists are working overtime, but initial analysis suggests these beings are facing annihilation. They're broadcasting coordinates." "Orders, Admiral." "Stand by, Captain. The Security Council is convening an emergency session. This is first contact, but not the kind we hoped for." The next hour passed in tense preparation. Across Earth's orbital defense platforms and lunar bases, similar scenes played out. Humanity had dreamed of meeting alien life, but few had imagined it would begin with a cry for help. The breakthrough came when Earth's most advanced AI finally cracked the alien language. The full message was heartbreaking in its simplicity. "To any civilization that can hear us, we are the Zenari. Our worlds burn. The Haranak Empire has declared our extinction. We are scientists, healers, and artists. We have no weapons to defend ourselves. In 3 cycles, they will reach our homeworld. 20 billion lives hang in the balance. We know we ask the impossible, but we have nowhere else to turn. These are our coordinates. Please, help us." Lieutenant Commander Alex Roman, the chief tactical officer, studied the star maps. "The coordinates put them about 30 light years from here. With our jump drives, we could reach them in 18 hours. Rosa turned to Dr. Elena Vasquez, the ship's xenobiologist. "What do we know about these Haranak?" Elena shook her head. "Nothing yet, but the Zenari included biological data about themselves. They're oxygen brothers, similar gravity requirements to Earth. Their planet has a 22-hour day cycle, which means we have less than 66 hours before the Haranak arrive." Rosa finished. The comm system chimed. Admiral Thompson's face reappeared, but now he wasn't alone. Behind him stood representatives from Earth's United Nations, their faces grave. "Captain Chen," Thompson began, "the Security Council has made its decision. Humanity will answer the Zenari's call. You're to lead a task force of 15 ships. Your mission: protect the Zenari and stop the Haranak advance." Rosa straightened. "Rules of engagement, sir. Attempt peaceful contact first." "But Captain," Thompson's expression hardened. If they refuse to stand down, you are authorized to use all necessary force. We won't stand by while innocents are slaughtered. Understood, Admiral. We won't let you down. As the connection ended, Rosa turned to her crew. These men and women had trained for combat, but none had faced an actual enemy. Now they would represent humanity in its first interstellar conflict. All hands, this is the captain, she announced over the ship-wide comm. In 1 hour, we jump to Zenari space. We go not as conquerors, but as protectors. Ready all systems. It's time to show the galaxy what humans stand for. The Terran fleet assembled with practiced efficiency. 15 warships, sleek and deadly, formed up around the horizon. Each ship bristled with railguns, missile pods, and point defense lasers. More importantly, each carried hundreds of highly trained soldiers, products of Earth's high-gravity environment and competitive evolution. As the fleet prepared to jump, Rosa received a private message from her husband Marcus, stationed on Luna Base. "Be careful out there, Rosa. Come back to us." She smiled, touching the screen. "Always do." "Jump coordinates locked in," announced Navigator Chen. No relation, despite the shared surname. "Fleet signals ready." "Execute jump," Rosa commanded. Space folded around them. In an instant, the familiar stars of Earth's neighborhood vanished, replaced by alien constellations. The fleet had arrived at the edge of Zenari space. "Scanning for Zenari vessels," Park reported. "I'm picking up. Captain, we've got multiple ships on approach. They're small, unarmed, probably civilian craft." "Open a channel," Rosa ordered. The main screen filled with the image of a Zenari. Rosa caught her breath. The alien was humanoid but delicate, with pale silver skin that seemed to shimmer. Large, multifaceted eyes dominated a narrow face. When it spoke, its voice was musical. You came. You heard our call. I am Captain Rosa Chen of Earth. We've come to help." The Zenari's eyes literally brightened, shifting through spectrum colors. "I am Coordinator Lyris. I speak for the Zenari Collective. We had given up hope. No one has ever stood against the Haranak." "Tell us about them," Rosa said gently. "We need to know what we're facing." Lyris's skin dimmed to a worried gray. "The Haranak are conquerors. They spread through the galaxy like a plague, taking what they want, destroying what they don't. They're physically powerful, their technology advanced. 7 species have fallen to them. We will be the 8th unless—" "Not if we can help it," Rosa said firmly. "How many ships do they have coming?" 40 warships, each one larger than your vessels. Captain Chen, we are grateful, but you should know, the Haranak have never been defeated. Perhaps you should save yourselves." Rosa exchanged glances with her bridge crew. She saw determination in their eyes, not fear. "Coordinator Lyris, humans have a saying. The only thing necessary for evil to triumph is for good people to do nothing. We're not going anywhere." The Zenari skin shifted to a warm gold. "You are either very brave or very foolish." "Probably both," Rosa admitted with a smile. "Now let's talk defense. Show us your world, and we'll figure out how to protect it." Over the next hours, the human fleet integrated with the remaining Zenari defenders. 5 small ships that were more like shuttles than warships. The Zenari homeworld, Zenara Prime, was a thing of beauty. Gleaming spires rose from crystal blue oceans. Cities floated in the clouds. It was a world of art and science, not war. Dr. Vasquez studied the data the Zenari shared. "Captain, their medical technology is incredible. They've cured diseases we're still fighting. Their renewable energy systems could solve Earth's remaining climate issues. All the more reason to protect them," Rosa replied. Commander Martinez approached with tactical assessments. "The Zenari have given us full scans of Haranak ships. They're big and powerful, but their tactics are straightforward. They rely on overwhelming force. And we rely on being sneaky when we have to." Rosa mused. "What about their ground forces, Heavy infantry, shock troops. They're from a lower gravity world than Earth. Our Marines should have a significant advantage in strength and speed. The preparations continued. Engineers from the human ships helped the Zenari strengthen their planetary shields. Marines prepared for surface deployment. Fighter pilots ran combat simulations. As Rosa walked through the Horizon's corridors, she found Chief Peterson working with his Marines. The grizzled veteran was demonstrating hand-to-hand combat techniques. "Chief, how are your people doing?" Peterson grinned. "Ready to dance, Captain. These Haranak might be big, but they've never tangled with humans before. We've been fighting stronger opponents our whole evolution. Saber-toothed cats, cave bears, and worst of all, other humans." Rosa nodded. Humanity's violent history, once a source of shame, might now be their greatest asset. Later, she met with Coordinator Lyris aboard the Zenari command station. The aliens' quarters were filled with floating holographic art, constantly shifting in mesmerizing patterns. "Your people create such beauty," Rosa observed. "It's all we've ever wanted," Lyris replied sadly. "To learn, to create, to understand the universe. We never developed weapons because we never needed them. We solved our conflicts through discussion and compromise." "There's no shame in that," Rosa said. "But sometimes you need someone willing to stand between you and those who would destroy beauty." Lyris's skin shimmered with curiosity. "Your species, Earth." Our scouts reported it once. They classified it as a death world. Extreme gravity, tectonic instability, violent weather patterns. "How did you survive?" Rosa smiled. "By being stubborn. By working together when we had to. By refusing to give up, even when everything seemed hopeless. The Haranak call such worlds forge worlds. They say survivors of such places are the most dangerous creatures in the galaxy. They're about to find out if that's true." An alarm chimed. Park's voice came over the comm. "Captain, long-range sensors detecting incoming ships. It's the Haranak fleet. They'll be here in 6 hours." Rosa stood. "Coordinator Lyris, I need to return to my ship. Get your people to the shelters. We'll handle the rest." As she turned to go, Lyris called out, "Captain Chen, whatever happens, thank you for answering, for caring about strangers among the stars." Back aboard the Horizon, Rosa assembled her senior staff. The mood was tense but focused. "Final preparations?" she asked. "All ships report ready," Martins confirmed. "Weapons charged, shields at maximum. Ground forces standing by," reported Colonel Williams, the Marine commander. "We've identified key civilian centers for protection. Fighter squadrons prepped and ready," added Wing Commander Patel. Rosa looked at each of them. "We're about to make history, humanity's first interstellar battle. But remember, we're not here for glory. We're here because innocent people need our help. That's what makes us human." The hours ticked by. The human fleet took position between Zenara Prime and the approaching Haranak Armada. 15 ships against 40. It seemed impossible. But as Rosa stood on her bridge, watching the stars, she remembered something her grandfather had told her. "Humans don't win because we're the strongest. We win because we never learned when to quit." The proximity alarms began to sound. On the tactical display, 40 red dots appeared, growing closer. "All ships, battle stations," Rosa commanded. "Let's show them what Deathworlders can do." Part 2. When Deathworlders answer. The Haranak fleet dropped out of faster-than-light travel with predatory precision. 40 massive warships, each one a kilometer-long testament to conquest, arranged themselves in perfect attack formation. Their hulls were dark red, like dried blood, covered in weapon ports and armor plating. They looked exactly like what they were, instruments of annihilation. "Enemy fleet has arrived," Lieutenant Park reported, his voice steady despite the odds they faced. "They're broadcasting on all frequencies." "Let's hear it," Rosa ordered, standing tall in the center of the Horizon's bridge. The main view screen filled with the image of a Haranak commander. Rosa had studied the limited intelligence the Zenari provided, but seeing one in person was still striking. The alien stood 3 meters tall, its body covered in thick, chitinous armor that seemed to be part of its biology. 4 arms ended in clawed hands. Its head was elongated, with multiple eyes that glowed a deep red. "Unknown vessels," the Haranak growled, its voice like grinding stone. "You occupy territory claimed by the Haranak Empire. Identify yourselves or be destroyed." Rosa stepped forward. "I am Captain Rosa Chen of the Terran Defense Fleet. We're here to protect the Zenari. Your aggression against their worlds ends now." The Haranak commander made a sound that might have been laughter. "Protect. The Zenari are prey. Weak creatures who exist only to serve stronger species. And you, what are you?" Another soft race playing at being warriors. "We're humans," Rosa replied simply. "From Earth." There was a pause. When the Haranak spoke again, there was something new in its voice. Interest, perhaps even caution. "Earth, the death world. We have heard whispers. They say your planet breeds monsters. We prefer survivors," Rosa said with a cold smile. "This is your only warning. Leave Zenari space peacefully, or face the consequences." The commander's multiple eyes narrowed. Brave words from a species that has never faced true warfare. "Look at our fleet, human. You are outnumbered, outgunned. Surrender now, and perhaps we will let some of you live as servants." Rosa glanced at Commander Martinez, who nodded grimly. Their trap was set. "Counteroffer," Rosa said. "Leave now, and we won't have to embarrass you in front of the entire galaxy." The Haranak commander reared back, all 4 arms spreading in a gesture of rage. "Insolent primitives. We are the Haranak. We have conquered 7 species. Our empire spans." "Boring," Rosa interrupted, cutting the transmission. She turned to her bridge crew. "Execute attack pattern Alpha. All ships, engage at will." The human fleet scattered like a school of fish avoiding a predator, but this was careful choreography, not panic. The Haranak, expecting their enemies to maintain formation like every other species they conquered, hesitated for a crucial second. That second cost them dearly. The TDF Horizon fired first, its main railgun sending a tungsten rod at a significant fraction of light speed into the lead Haranak vessel. The impact was devastating. The rod punched through shields and armor like paper, causing secondary explosions throughout the enemy ship. "Direct hit," Chief Peterson reported from the weapons station. Their shields didn't even slow it down. The battle erupted across space. Human ships danced around their larger opponents, using superior maneuverability to avoid the Haranak's powerful but slow-tracking weapons. Earth's military doctrine, refined through millennia of conflict, proved devastatingly effective. "Sir, the enemy's attempting to envelope us," Lieutenant Raman reported from Tactical. "Then let's give them a surprise," Rosa commanded. "Signal the 2nd Squadron. Execute Hammer and Anvil." 5 human ships that had seemed to retreat suddenly reversed course, catching a group of Haranak vessels in a deadly crossfire. Missiles and energy weapons filled space with deadly light. Meanwhile, on the planet below, Colonel Williams led the ground forces deployment. Dropships punched through the atmosphere, carrying Earth's finest soldiers to protect Zenari cities. "Remember," Williams briefed his troops as they descended, "the Zenari are counting on us. The Haranak have never faced high-gravity worlders in ground combat. Let's show them why Earth is called a death world." The Marines hit the ground running, literally. In Zenera Prime's lighter gravity, they moved like supernatural beings. A Haranak shock trooper, accustomed to being the strongest thing on any battlefield, found itself grabbed by a human Marine who lifted it bodily and threw it through a wall. Contact. Multiple hostiles. Sergeant Lisa Wu called out, her squad taking position around a Zenari hospital. The building was full of civilians. Elderly, children, the sick and injured who couldn't evacuate. The Haranak ground forces advanced with typical brute force tactics. They were met with something they'd never encountered: human tactical flexibility. Marines used the urban environment to their advantage, turning every corner into a kill zone, every building into a fortress. Back in space, the battle continued to rage. The horizon shuddered as enemy fire found its mark. Shields at 60%. Martinez reported. Hull breach on Deck 7. Contained. Return fire. All weapons. Rosa ordered. Target their command ship. The human vessels were taking damage, but they were giving far worse than they got. Heranak ships, designed to overwhelm weaker opponents, found themselves outmatched by human aggression and tactical innovation. Wing Commander Potel led the fighter assault. All wings, attack pattern Delta. Let's show these bugs what happens when you mess with our friends. Hundreds of human fighters swarmed the Heranak formation. These small craft were a concept the Empire had never encountered. The Heranak considered fighters a waste of resources. They learned otherwise as precision strikes disabled weapon systems and engines across their fleet. On the bridge of the Heranak flagship, the commander watched in disbelief as his inferior opponents tore through his fleet. "Impossible," he growled. "No one fights like this. They're enjoying it." His second-in-command chittered nervously. "Sir, we've lost 12 ships. Their tactics are unlike anything in our databases. They fight like predators. All our previous opponents tried to match our formations," the commander realized. "These humans, they fight like chaos itself." Meanwhile, on Zenara Prime, the tide of ground battle turned decisively. Colonel Williams coordinated the defense from a commandeered Zenari building, watching tactical feeds from across the planet. Phoenix Company reinforced the Eastern District. "Dragon Squadron, I need you to hit those artillery positions." He turned to Coordinator Lyris, who had insisted on remaining at the command post. "Your people safe?" Lyris's skin pulsed with amazement. "All shelters report secure. Your soldiers, they move so fast. The Heranak can't match them." Williams grinned. "Ma'am, on Earth, we evolved running from predators, then became predators ourselves. These Heranak are tough, but they're not saber-toothed tigers." A massive explosion lit up the sky. Looking up, they saw a Heranak destroyer breaking apart, its death throes visible from the surface. In space, Captain Chen pressed the advantage. "All ships, concentrate fire on their command vessel. Martinez, ready the Nova bomb." "Captain," Dr. Vasquez called from her station, "I'm reading massive energy buildup in the enemy flagship. They're preparing some kind of last resort weapon." "Time to finish this," Rosa decided. "Open a channel to their commander." The Heranak leader appeared on screen again, but now his armored hide showed damage, and 2 of his eyes were dark. "Ready to surrender?" Rosa asked calmly. "Never," the commander roared. "If we cannot have this world, no one will. Our Omega weapon will." "We'll never fire," Rosa interrupted. She nodded to Martinez, who entered the final launch codes. The Nova bomb, humanity's most devastating weapon, designed but never used in Earth's own conflicts, launched from the Horizon's Special Weapons Bay. It was small, no bigger than a standard missile, but it carried the power of a miniature star. The bomb hit the Heranak flagship and detonated. For a moment, a new sun burned in space, consuming the enemy command ship and 3 vessels nearby. When the light faded, only debris remained. The remaining Heranak ships, seeing their leader destroyed and already heavily damaged, began to retreat. But Rosa wasn't finished. "This is Captain Chen to all Heranak vessels. You came here to commit genocide. You threatened peaceful people who asked only to be left alone. Here's what happens next. You leave, and you tell your empire that the Zenari are under human protection. Attack them again, and we'll visit your homeworld next." One by one, the surviving Heranak ships jumped to hyperspace, fleeing the battlefield. The human fleet had lost 3 vessels, with 5 more damaged but repairable. The Heranak had lost more than half their armada. As the dust settled, Coordinator Lyris's voice came over the comm, thick with emotion. "Captain Chen, you did it. You saved us." Rosa smiled tiredly. "That's what friends do, Coordinator." The aftermath was a blur of activity. Human medical teams worked alongside Zenari healers to treat the wounded. Engineers helped repair damage to cities. Marines assisted in cleanup operations, their superhuman strength making quick work of debris. 3 days later, Rosa stood with Coordinator Lyris in the Zenari capital, looking out over the recovering city. The silver-skinned alien's color had shifted to a warm, golden hue. "Your people call Earth the Death World," Rosa mused. "But maybe that's not so bad. It made us strong enough to protect those who need it." "You've changed everything," Lyris said. "The galaxy believed the Haranak were unstoppable. Now there's hope. Other species that conquered are already sending messages, asking for help." Rosa nodded thoughtfully. "Looks like humanity just found its purpose among the stars." "What will you call yourselves?" Lyris asked. "The Haranak spread fear with their empire. What will humans spread?" Rosa considered this. "How about the Terran Alliance, a partnership of worlds, standing together against tyranny? The Zenari could be our first members, if you're interested." Lyris's entire body glowed with approval. "We would be honored." As days turned to weeks, the story spread across the galaxy. The Deathworlders who answered a cry for help. The Predators who chose to protect rather than prey. The Haranak Empire, shaken by their first defeat, pulled back their forces, suddenly wary of expanding toward Earth's sector of space. On Earth, the news was met with celebration and pride. Humanity had found its place in the galaxy, not as conquerors, but as guardians. The Zenari shared their medical knowledge and clean energy technology. In return, humans offered protection and military training to those who wanted it. Captain Rosa Chen became a symbol of humanity's new role. But for her, it was simpler than that. As she told her crew when they finally returned to Earth, "We answered a call for help. We stood up to bullies. That's what humans do." The galaxy would never be the same. The Deathworlders had announced their presence, not with conquest, but with compassion backed by strength. And across the stars, species living in fear of empires like the Haranak began to hope. Because now they knew, when the monsters come, the humans answer.